My name is Latasha Curtis. So today we're doing a movie title sequence comparison with Saul Bass movie title sequences. Apparently, he was a heavy hitter in the game. We've learned that over the course of this class. So this is Saul Bass. He actually started out as a graphic designer, making imagery for ad campaigns. So as he was working on the ad campaign for the man with the golden arm, he started to realize the significance of the movie title sequence itself. I don't know if we can see that well here. So he started to make an emphasis on the significance of the movie title sequence itself, and I think that's cool because especially like back in the day, if you saw an actor in a movie, you weren't able to say like, hey, say like, hey, oh, I think that actor is interesting or they have an interesting element to them. Let me Google them. You couldn't do that. So the movie title sequence is kind of how you got familiar with what actor was who. And so you can actually see here in the corner is the imagery for the man with the golden arm. And he used the principles that he uses during his movie title sequences with this image. The image of the arm is symbolic of like elements of the movie, and that's something that he believed was really important. You should have elements of the movie and like inspiration from the movie. It should basically be like a short film at the beginning of the movie. So Saul Bass's movie title sequence style. Before he started actually doing the movie title sequences in the way that he do them, they were very basic. You can kind of see this with the imagery from Casablanca, just with white letters in a black and white background. Very basic, very boring, I'm probably not paying attention to this. So when he introduced the movie title sequence, the elaborate sequences, he started including animation, movement, diverse color schemes, and just more creativity to the movie title sequence in general. And you can also see that in the movie title sequence for the Pink Panther. It's actually cool about the Pink Panther. I read in the comments for one of the videos that I was watching that the reason that the Pink Panther had so much success and was able to take it to like have an animated series is because of the title sequence for the movie. A lot of the people in the comments were saying that when the movie did come out, they actually used to go to the movies to see the title sequence as opposed to the movie. So I thought that was really interesting. What I was looking for when I was making these comparisons, so these are some examples from Saul Bass's movies, or his movie title sequences, just like things that I was looking for when I was looking for a movie title sequence that could have been inspired by him. So basically I was looking for frequent animation or text, like moving, a lot of movement, elaborate color schemes, pops of colors, and for the movie title sequence to have like a summary of the movie in the beginning, or at least a little piece of it. Saul Bass also uses a lot of silhouettes in his title sequences, and we'll see some of those later on. And I was also looking for similarities in music, even though that's not something that I used for this presentation. But a lot of the time, the music, excuse me, goes along with the pace or the vibe of the movie. So here we have a couple images. These two images. This is one from Not With My Wife, You Don't. You can see the different color patterns that he uses here. Same here with Bonjour Tristesse. I don't know really how to pronounce that, so I'm just guessing. But you see that here as well. And then a couple video clips. So here you can see the animation that he uses in the title sequence. It's kind of like a little like cartoon before before the movie starts, almost like in Pink Panther. So that's pretty cool. And then so this is from Higher Learning, and you can see like the odd angle that like he has the text coming in at, and then it exits the screen from there. Just different creative things, especially like with movies where it's like hard to be creative like that. I feel like Higher Learning was kind of one of them. Yeah. So here we are comparing Vertigo with The Incredibles. So in the two images, you can see that the one on the top, obviously from Incredibles, the one on the bottom is from Vertigo. Both of the images, you can see that there's like a fixation on the eye, or there's something over top of the eye. So that seems like the main focus at first, and then it zooms into a text, and that is the important information that they're bringing your eye to focus on. So here we have the obviously Incredibles and the Man with the Golden Arm. So the image on the bottom, you can see that they use the same, well, both of the images use the same like stretched out figure around the text. This one is in between it, and this one is on top of it. And usually lines are used to create emphasis or boundaries. So that's exactly what they're doing here. They're putting these lines here to create emphasis on the text that's on the screen, and then it uses the lines in the writing in lighter colors with a black background. And we'll also see that kind of setup as well here in Psycho. So it used that black background to create a negative space back there. And the image and the lines are the positive space. And you can see that comparison here as well with the movie Psycho, the OG Psycho. See how they have these lines coming in, so then it's emphasis. Oh wow, what's that that's coming in on the screen? Oh, it's the characters' names. Same thing here. Oh. Same thing here with the title sequence for The Incredibles. You can see that the mom is stretched out here around the words, and then she brings in a whole new set of a whole new name. So yeah, creating emphasis there as well. So here we are comparing both Around the World in 80 Days to The Incredibles, and the two images, you can see it kind of gives like a little snippet, like a little glimpse into the story, because obviously in The Incredibles they're fighting villains. So the daughter, you can see she's getting chased off screen by these bullets, and it has the same kind of movement. They're both going off of the screen the same way. That's another commonality between the two, is the movement. So you can see that the bike here is chasing the clock off of the screen. So obviously Around the World in 80 Days, they're on the time schedule. And so that gives you a little bit of insight as to what the movie is going to be about. So here we have, I've noticed that Bass does this thing where he like has a frequent pattern of different color schemes. So here you can see that he goes from like hot colors to like cool colors back to warm colors, and same here with Bonjour Triste. Um, he has these warm colors here that are all over the screen in the beginning, and then these cool colors come in later on in the title sequence. And the same is going on here in The Incredibles. They go from the warm color, warm color, cool color in the beginning, and then they also do the same thing here towards the end. Warm color, cool color, warm, same thing. So yeah, so see, same similarities. So here, these are the silhouettes that I was speaking of previously. So you can see that here in the movie Casino, this is kind of like, again, a little glimpse into the movie as well. Because you can see Robert De Niro's character is basically like falling. It looks like he's falling from like a casino roof or something. It's kind of like a fall from grace, because at one point he was like head honcho in Vegas, and then like his car gets blown up. We'll see that a little bit later as well. Typically he'll have an image that he goes to transition to the next thing, but he uses a silhouette, like an outline, mostly against like a black background, or the silhouette is black itself, and usually outlined with something. So just like we have here in both of these images of The Incredibles. So yeah. And then so here we have a comparison with both Goodfellas and with Casino. So in the beginning, it'll be like a little piece of the movie, and then it'll go to a little bit of the opening credits, and then go back to the movie, and then finish the opening credits. And then we'll see these here in these couple clips. So this is from Goodfellas. Great movie, by the way. See, we got a couple words here going off the screen very quickly. Very fast pace. Apparently the movie's based on a true story. See, and so it goes to a little piece of the movie. I had to cut out what was happening here. There was a colleague of theirs in the trunk. So yeah. So we see a little bit of the opening credits. You kind of see the more important people, or the people that are probably going to be in this first little bit in the beginning, and then it goes back to the opening credits again. Same thing here in the movie Casino. Give you a little something. I started the screen recording a little too early. So they give you a little piece of information, and then they give you a little insight of the movie. And then, ba-bam, his car blows up. Same situation here in the snippet from The Incredibles. There's a villain talking. They're in their mask. They're like, boom, we're about to spring into action. Boom, there's the opening credits. Same concept. So here we have a comparison between Cowboy and Incredibles. So the two sets of images display examples of selective perception. So in the beginning of this, excuse me, beginning of this, still in Cowboy. We're looking at this newspaper. It's very basic. We're not really sure what is important about it. And then once it zooms in, it makes you forget about all this other information because it's not important. So it brings your main focus right here to see that the screenplay is by Edmund North. So it kind of makes all the information in the back seem uninteresting. The audience doesn't care about that anymore now because we see the reason that we're looking at this is to figure out who the screenplay is by. Same here with The Incredibles. We're looking at evil villain in his lair or whatever. We see all this information, and right now this doesn't seem very significant because it's zoomed out. We can't even see who Rick Sayer is. And once he pulls the lever and they zoom back in, we don't care about the rest of this stuff. All we care about is the fact that the supervising technical director is Rick Sayer. And that brings us to the end of my presentation. So these are my works cited, which you can see on the assignment. And that is all I got.